There's hair, like for sure, on my face. I cannot find it. I can feel it. I cannot find it. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games and board gamey things. I am back again today, my friends, with my flower shirt on for another pumped up Kickstarter. And today's preview video is on Vines and Flowers from Wales Entertainment, who very kindly sponsored today's video. Few things to note. Number one, this game is a prototype. So anything that you see, of course, as per usual with prototype, is subject to change. If by the end of the video you feel like this sounds like something that you might be interested in, I will have all of the links and everything that you need to know in the description below, so you can click on those, follow the campaign, and do all that good stuff. But without further ado, I say we flutter like a butterfly. I almost dropped the box, and we flutter like a butterfly into the preview. Here we go. In a land where sunlight dances through the vines and flowers shimmer with a shining glow, a magnificent pergola stands in bloom. From elegant roses to lively trumpet creepers, beautiful blooming flowers await you to plant. In Vines and Flowers, players work together to build a floral pergola. Your goal is to strategically connect as many complete flowers of each color as possible. It will take strategy and a touch of luck. But what does that mean? I'm glad you asked. Let's take a closer look at how the game works. Now, as per usual with my preview videos, this is going to be a general overview of how the game works, not an official how to play. I just want to give you a good idea of how the game kind of plays so that it can help you make the decision of whether or not this is going to be a good fit for you. So with that being said, let's get started. Vines and Flowers is going to be played over a series of rounds consisting of player turns from the starting player and going clockwise around the table. Each player will take turns crafting the floral pergola. A turn consists of 4 phases. So we have the action phase, the fulfillment phase, the hummingbird phase, and the replenish phase. So let's take a closer look at how those phases works. This, my friends, is the game. Here we are set up for a 3-player game technically, although really you can only see 1 player just for space's sake. But the main difference with different player counts in this game is going to be how many tiles go in the bag. So in a 3-player game, you're going to have 42 tiles total, okay? So this is the setup. Let's start with the action phase, which is the first phase of your turn. You will perform 2 actions from the following 2 options, and you can do these actions in any order, any combination. So you could do the first action twice, you could do the first action, then the second action, or you could do second action, then the first action, or the second action twice, whatever you want, any combination of these 2 options. The first action is to acquire a tile from the market and take the petal on it, if any. You could take the first tile in line for free, or the tile you want to acquire by spending 1 petal behind your screen on each tile that you skipped. All right, so this is the market. If this is going to be the first tile, that means that this tile you could take for free. Or if you want this tile, you're going to have to put a petal onto the one that you skipped. If you want this one, a petal, and so on and so forth. And basically, when later somebody takes one of these tiles, they are also going to be getting that petal. But just note, you do have a hand limit for tiles of 3. So you can have a maximum of 3 tiles in hand. So you cannot perform this action if you already have 3 tiles in hand, which is where the second action is going to come in. The second action is to place a flower tile from your hand on the pergola to score petals. So let's just say this is my hand of flowers. Now the second action is to place one of these onto the pergola, which is here in the center of the table. Now it's a little bit difficult to see from a top-down perspective, so I am going to show you what it looks like from this angle as well, which you are seeing kind of as I am talking to you. Crazy. Movie magic. Now, when you are placing flowers into the pergola, you must connect vines, only to vines, and match flowers with flowers of the same color. So as an example, if I wanted to play this out, there is a pink flower here and here, so I could match pink to pink like that, or even to the side. I could do orange with orange and blue with blue, or a vine with a vine. But to start, there are no open vines. Everything is a flower. So I might want to do this. So we are growing it out and we are growing it up. If the tile you just placed forms a complete flower, then start to count how many complete flowers you have connected. You'll gain one petal for each complete flower of its color. This is called petal acquisition. I here have completed one flower, one pink flower. So if I'm kind of looking around, and this is the beginning of the game, so obviously there's not going to be a ton of complete flowers, that means that I'm going to gain one petal for each complete flower of its color being pink. And this is going to go behind my player screen where I keep all my secrets. As a bonus, whenever a player places a flower tile as the first tile of a fresh pergola layer, resulting in petal acquisition, which is what just happened, an additional petal of the same color is awarded. So in this situation, I would gain another petal. If the tile you placed has a special insect, it will activate an extra effect. So there are a few different types of insects, and let me just see if I can find some. Starting with the bee. So there's a bee right here. So if I had placed out, here we go, this one here, I'm trying to place them this way so that you can see. Placing a flower tile with the bee on the pergola immediately earns you an extra move. There are also spiders. So we have a spider right here. Let's get crazy and we'll put the spider right there. Placing a flower tile with a spider allows you to immediately acquire an extra tile from the market for free, regardless of the order. Now we need a ladybug. Ladybug. Placing a flower tile with a ladybug earns you one ladybug, which is considered as one color of petal at the end of the game. So it's basically like a wild petal, okay? Of course, we got to place that in order to be able to do it. Lastly, we have butterflies, which are right here. Placing a flower tile with a butterfly immediately earns you a wild 4-hue tile, which, without occupying your hand limit, is considered to match flowers of any color and can be used in action B, which we just described. So this, as an example, could go right here because it matches all colors. That means it could go here and here, etc. All right? Next up, we have the fulfillment phase, which is an optional phase. In this phase, you will fulfill a contract and gain the 2 ladybugs as rewards. There are 3 contract slots. 4, 5, and 6 petals of the same color are required on the fulfillment board, which is right here, which has 3 hummingbird tiles respectively. Each contract must be fulfilled sequentially and with the required number of petals in different colors. If conditions are met, you'll first display the number of the same color petals you need to fulfill the contract. Maybe it's 4 pink. Put one of these petals onto the fulfilled contract slot, then you'll take the 2 ladybugs as rewards. And finally, shuffle the hummingbird tile into the cloth bag. Okay, so all of our market tiles are in here. You will take that hummingbird tile, shuffle it around in the cloth bag. All right, next is the hummingbird phase. If the hummingbird is currently first in line in the market, you're going to archive it to the left side of the event card and immediately trigger the effect. So we don't currently have any hummingbird tiles out because they will get drawn out of the bag in the same way as other tiles. But that would be if this stage is going to come later. But if it's first in line in market, you're going to archive it to the left side of the event card. These are the event cards here. And then you're going to trigger the X effect, which is this effect right here. So in this instance, it would be pink flower. The player with the most pink petals gains a ladybug. If not, you'll simply skip this phase. So if there is no hummingbird in the current first spot, you're just going to skip this. Finally, we have the replenish phase where you will refill the market from the cloth bag in order. The current player continues to replenish until 5 tiles are available in the market, and then the next player can start their turn. This is probably a good time to talk about hummingbirds and event cards. There are 2 ways to archive hummingbird tiles onto the event cards. The first is with a personal effect. When a player gains a hummingbird tile from the market during the action phase, they must archive it to the right side of an available event card, triggering its checkmark effect that applies only to the player. So if it had been my turn and I decided to take this hummingbird, I could put it to the right side. So we have 3, let me just move these. So we have 3 event cards that are face up. I would then do this one here, gain a pink petal. The other way is by global effect. On the hummingbird phase, on a player's turn, if the hummingbird tile is first in line, once again, we already just talked about this, but it's automatically archived to the left side where you will get to trigger the X effect. And that is going to apply to all players. So that's how the hummingbirds are going to work. The game will end when the cloth bag runs out of tiles or the 4th hummingbird tile appears on the market. At this point, all players will remove their screens and players will then determine which of the 4 colors, yellow, orange, blue, or pink, possesses the fewest petals, with players freely allocating their ladybugs to any of the 4 colors. Each ladybug is wild and can stand for any color. Then players will compare the number of their fewest petals, and whoever has the highest result is the winner. So that, my friends, is Vines and Flowers in a nutshell. Now, by the time the game is over, the pergola, my friends, the pergola is going to get crazy. Let's just build it out a little bit so that we can see the pergola in all of its glory. We want this here like that. As you can see, things can get a little hectic, crazy. We're building out a wild pergola, all right? But your question might be, who is this game for? This game is for puzzlers. This is a very unique puzzle style game because you're actually building up, not just kind of placing tiles. You're building up, giving the game an interesting 3D element. It's really an optimization puzzle because you're trying to add the most effective tiles to score the most points, keeping in mind that everyone around the table will be working on the pergola together, but you're going to be scoring your own points. The rule set's very straightforward. It's very kind of easy to get into, but to score well, you're going to need to use a lot of strategy, and you'll need to choose tiles carefully for placement and for extra abilities that are given to you from the insect tiles. You're also going to have to be mindful of the event cards that are up and how you're triggering them, keeping an eye on the hummingbirds that come out because that is essentially the game timer. And it's not necessarily about having the most of each color. Like I mentioned in scoring, you're going to collectively look and see which color was the least that was gathered and who has the most of that. So there's a lot of like kind of, I guess, examining the table and kind of figuring out, all right, like what's what should I get? I already have so many yellows. Maybe I should like sneak in a blue because there's not many blues. So that might be what we're scoring. Trying to get some of these ladybugs so you can assign them however you like. But overall, it's a relatively straightforward and fast-paced game. It's just different because, like I said, this is like a 3D game, which is pretty cool. Of course, it's also for fans of people who love gardening and flowers and the springtime, because 'tis the season, spring is coming. And we all want to see some flowers and we all want to get back to our gardens. But my friends, that, like I said, in a nutshell, is Vines and Flowers. Now, if this sounds like a game that you might be interested in, as I mentioned earlier, all of the links and everything that you need to know are going to be in the description below. But my friends, that is everything that I have for this video today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games like other games from Wales Entertainment, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that's the Boardroom Game Cafe. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. I hope to see you again soon. And now I say goodbye. Goodbye and happy gardening.